Pile 1. What victory are you destined for? The message I brought through for you was that you are destined for career or monetary success in an unlikely field. So the first things that were coming through was an artistic career, digital nomad, sort of freelance, you being able to just have a laptop or phone and work from that, meaning you can go anywhere, do anything. But you're destined to have an income stream that gives you joy and the freedom that you want in your life. And I also got the message that you'll have more money than you expect to have when you enter a field that isn't typically lucrative. So if you're like an artist or a painter, or if you just want to do like freelance work online and travel around, you might not be expecting to have a lot of money from that because it isn't typically something that people get rich from. But the message I pulled through was that you're going to live very well in a job that you feel passionately towards, and more so, it's something that gives you the freedom to live your life the way that you want it. No one's your boss, no one makes your schedule. You get to have the freedom to fully live and not just be like a slave to a job. You don't have to show up to a certain place at a certain time and be there and, be in that daily drain of life. You get to live and have a full and complete life and experiences around your job and not have your job drain your life of fun and excitement and adventure. So we get to the cards. I pulled for your situation right now, and I was sort of expecting a situation where you're like unhappy with job or something, because that seemed like it would fit. However, what came through was the Star Born. This was a very interesting message because it means that you're in the I hope you don't take this badly. In the best way, you're strange. You're unique. You're different. You're just not tuned into the same wavelength as like mainstream society. There are people who live perfectly fine with a 9-to-5 and have a house, kids, you do the very typical thing. And I feel like you're so unique and your soul just desires so much more sparks and fire and aliveness and adventure. If you look at this looks like sparks around this card. There's so much color, so much life. This could also be someone who, you could be someone who's very spiritual. The Starborn typically points to starseed energy. So you could be very tuned in spiritually in a way that other people aren't. But you're unique and you're different and you really have your own wavelength. And if you try to plug it into mainstream society, it just doesn't go. So it makes sense that a typical job isn't going to be very fulfilling for you and that you would have to sort of carve your own path because you are your own person. This is really celebrating the fact that you're your own person. You might be in a stage where you're sort of struggling right now because like you've been told, we all get told that there's this way that we're supposed to live life. You go to school, get a job, get married, have kids, have a house, and you might have been trying to plug in, but you're like, this doesn't work. I hate this. This is crushing my soul. This is taking all the sparks and fun and color out of my life. And the spirit in this message is really celebrating the fact that you know yourself so well that you don't take on society's idea of what you should be. So embrace your uniqueness, because your uniqueness is the way that you are going to carve out a life that works for you. You are going to custom make your own life. And it isn't going to look like what you've been told lives should typically look like. It'll be yours, and it'll make you happy. This is you listening to your own inner guidance here. I pulled some cards on how to bring this victory about. You have Temple and the Bardo. These are also quite spiritual cards. So you might be a very spiritual, tuned in, tapped in person. These cards are once again celebrating that in you. With the Temple, I feel like this is telling you to honor yourself, honor your soul, honor your uniqueness. And the Bardo is in between space. It's like between life and death is what the Bardo actually is. And I'm interpreting that as, again, you have your own wavelength. Like, you're just not going to be able to plug into other people or society or like a typical workplace. You just can't plug in. Like, it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It feels horrible to you. And these cards are telling you to honor that in yourself, to honor what feels good for you, to really sort of not listen to other people and to really pay attention to, you see on the Temple, it's like in almost prayer hands. You're being told to honor your spirit and your wavelength and your unique way of being, and that is going to carve out a space in life where you fit perfectly, where you are so comfortable, because you might have been uncomfortable like your whole life. And if you pay attention to yourself and you honor yourself and you are very deeply in tune with your soul, you will know what makes you happy and comfortable and how you want to spend your time. And you're going to make something for yourself where you can have that same level of comfort that other people have in their typical lives. And this is the same thing. What advice on how to bring it about? The Storm and the Crone. So the Storm points to difficulty, chaos, or maybe just the idea that you feel like you can't fit in and you feel like you can't understand why you're doing the same things other people are doing, but they're happy and you're not. These cards are telling you that the Crone is wisdom, and it's typically a spiritual wisdom. So the Storm and the Crone is telling you that you are gathering or have gathered deep spiritual soul wisdom through your challenges. The challenges could be anything, even if we haven't named it or spoken of it yet, or it could be just the fact that you just can't find happiness in a typical life, or you can't have a feeling of comfort and belonging. You just feel like you can't fit in. Those experiences that feel negative are the ones that are going to fuel your wisdom and spirituality. So delve into them and delve into those uncomfortable feelings, because the lessons are at the bottom of those feelings. And in learning what doesn't work for you, you can learn what does work for you. So I pulled what things are going to be like after this victory, how you're going to live, and got the Threshold and the Riddle. The Threshold is an incredible card to get because this person is in darkness, and then one thing happens that puts them over the threshold and they have a completely different life. Things are alive, things are fire, things are passionate, things are joyful and fun, and life takes on a whole new energy. I really feel like you're going to have distinct eras in your life. Like this was before, and this moment starts the after, where you were uncomfortable, you didn't have belonging, you just didn't enjoy everyday life. And then you cross the threshold and life becomes passionate. This is a card this like fire colors, the yellow and the orange of this card are making me think of just pleasure and passion, where you're just alive and so much more alive than other people because you built the life that suits you and that wakes you up, and you're just fully embodied in your soul and in your body, and you're loving life the way it is. And the riddle is once again a very spiritual card. So you could be a spiritually powerful person, but it says that you will have cracked the code, essentially. I think people are going to look at you and be amazed and astonished that you did something that they couldn't even imagine doing. When you are living in this life that you create for yourself, people are going to be maybe confused because it wouldn't make them happy. And some people are going to be amazed and inspired because you've broken away from things you were, quote, supposed to do. And you did what you wanted to do. And it's giving you a light and a power and a joy and a freedom that, it's just incredible. Like, just a fully embodied spiritual, physical life. It's all intertwined. You're just living so fully and loving it every moment. Like, this is someone who can even find passion in situations that maybe aren't so good. Like, maybe you were supposed to travel somewhere and stay in like an Airbnb for a month, and then it falls through, and somebody else would panic and be like, oh my goodness, I don't have a place to stay for a month. A person in this energy will be like, oh my gosh, I have freedom to go anywhere I want for this month. I can go like sleep in the woods. I can go to a cabin, just so alive and unafraid of living more. It's a beautiful energy. And the last cards just reiterate this. I pulled, who are you when you're in this life and you have this victory? You got the Castle and the Kiss. And I pulled some cards for clarity. Well, one card for clarity, and got Eros. So this is the same thing. Eros is physicality. So this is you being alive and passionate about physical life. If you really lean on spirituality now because physical life doesn't feel like it fits you and suits you, you're going to be someone who enjoys physicality and physical existence. The Castle is an interesting one to come out. It is about safety. You're going to have built a place where you feel safe and comfortable, and where life can feel luxurious because you built the walls around you, whatever they are. And I don't think you're someone who really likes walls, but even if you're traveling around, you're going to feel so safe. It's going to feel like you've come home, even if you just like have a car and are driving around and that's all you have. It's going to feel like that was your home all along, like the whole world. And I keep using the same example, but you can apply it to anything. Whatever it is you're desiring, you're going to feel that sense of, I am plugged in now because this is what I was meant to do and be all along. And the Kiss is reiterating the message. It's passion. You're going to live passionately and happily and feel so safe and comfortable. You feel like you belong because you've created your own environment. And it's based off of you and your desires and what makes you comfortable. And it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. So that's what I have for you. Good luck to you. This sounds like fun. It sounds like fun, adventure, and just being in love with life. Thank you for listening, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Pile 2, what victory is destined for you? So this is a bit of a heavier pile, but we're going to jump into it and give you advice and reassurance and hope at the end. You are destined to fall in love with yourself despite circumstances where people have devalued you. You're meant to, but I am reading this. I brought messages through before I pulled cards, so I'm reading what I wrote down. You're meant to break away from the ideas and voices and environments full of toxic people to figure out the layers of yourself and fall in love with yourself so you can elevate yourself to the next level of life where the darkness and toxicity and people who don't value you are no longer anywhere on your level. So you are meant to essentially save yourself. And it came through with a message of reassurance, because I think maybe you're someone who's wants someone to fall in love with you, and you feel like that will bring you to the next level of life where you can be happy and valued and loved. So this message might not sound that great, but it's saying that it made sure, when I was bringing messages through, they made sure to say that when you fall in love with yourself and you are in a place where you are in your own power and life is under your control and you love yourself and you love your life, then someone who is from a very high level themselves, who isn't toxic, who isn't dark at all, will fall in love with you. So it's reassuring you that you will have a real deep love, but it wants you to heal from this darkness first. And it wants you to unpack all of this crap that terrible people have been telling you about yourself or making you feel about yourself. This has probably been something through your whole life. This sounds like a pile that had childhood trauma that is just sort of replaying in their current life and relationships. And you can unpack all of this and heal and leave this trauma behind and fall in love with your unique self. Because you probably, if this is the type of environment you've been in your whole life, you probably don't even know what your strengths and your incredibleness and uniqueness even is. You're meant to discover yourself, which is a very exciting and fun process when you can figure out what you're good at, what you enjoy, what your passion is, what your unique energy is, how you feel to other people. Like, you can come into that type of power of being, and you're destined to do it. And then from a space of love and power, then people will come into your life that are good, and they will love you for how strong you are, how powerful you are, and how much love you're capable of having for yourself and for everyone around you. So I pulled cards. The first cards up here are kind of dark and creepy looking, but they are Eros and Thanatos. It's interesting, you have this sort of other people and love and relationships theme, and then the first card that came out was Eros, which is about physicality, but it's also about like eroticism and sexuality. And Thanatos next to it is about death. So the cards are saying the way that you are operating in relationships, the person that you've become when you're dealing with other people, or possibly that other people have sort of formed. Like, if you've been devalued by other people your whole life, it's very difficult to then value yourself. This is very clearly saying the way that you operate needs to die. It's saying the way that you allow yourself to be treated, the way that you are taking on things that are not you and never were you. Maybe you're even like agreeing to things that you know are wrong on any scale. Eros can be about eroticism. So maybe you're doing things in that arena that you don't want to do, or with people you don't want to do them with, or it could be something as simple as having a partner who likes a certain kind of dinner and you don't like that food, but you keep making it because they like it and you eat it anyway. And that doesn't seem like a big deal, but when it's every single day, all the time with everything, and that person is, you're giving them everything and you're getting nothing in return, it's unsustainable. And the cards are saying it needs to stop. So I pulled some extra cards about your situation. You have the Bardo, which is an in-between space, and the Venom, which is just really bad energy. The space that you are in right now, it has the Venom. It has negativity. It just has you being not valued. You're not being held in a good space. You are being held in a space of pain and frustration and hurt, and you're not loved here. It's a dark message, but we're going to start turning it around. I have pulled cards for advice on how to get out of this. The Pilgrim, the Vision. The first thing that came through with the Pilgrim was retreat. Pilgrims can go on retreats to spiritual places or something, but what this is telling me with the Pilgrim card is that it wants you to retreat from your life from the negative influences in your life. If you have your own place, that's great. Retreat there, pull away from negative influences, and really start dissecting your life and start a process of healing. If you live with a partner who is devaluing you and you can't leave right now, it's saying retreat inside yourself, get a journal, get something that maybe you can have it on notes on your phone or something, but retreat inside yourself and really evaluate things. Try to be objective. With the Vision, this is saying it wants you to pull back and see the bigger picture and see things for how they are, instead of putting meanings to things that don't value you, that don't truly fit. So like the example I gave earlier, if you're eating food you don't like because the other person likes it, you might say, that's me being kind. But in reality, if you look at the big picture, you could see how you are constantly not getting what you want and you're not getting anything for it. So it isn't selfless. It's just self-abuse. It's, if you're doing this for someone who doesn't appreciate it, who doesn't care, who doesn't even realize that you don't like the food, who doesn't ever want to give you anything back, who just takes and takes and takes and doesn't value the sacrifice that you're making for them, then it's not a positive thing. So it's asking you to evaluate things in an objective way. Try not to make excuses. Try not to put your emotions in, because I think you're actually a very sweet, kind-hearted person, which unfortunately, when those types of people start out in very dark circumstances, probably in the home with the parents, it's just so much easier to manipulate them and to use their sympathy against them and to prey on their kindness. So you're being asked to reevaluate like what is truly kind. If it isn't kind to you, it's not kind. You shouldn't be doing it. In a normal relationship, if you make someone's favorite food, they know that you don't like it and they're appreciative that you did that and you put in extra effort and they love you for it and they value you and they do something for you. And I don't think you're getting that reciprocity. And these cards are asking you to see your life for what it is. And then with the Vision, it is asking you to picture what could be and what you truly want. So You want to be valued in a relationship. You want people around you who are kind to you and who appreciate what you do for them. It could be anything. I mean, just giving examples. What you want for your life could be anything, but you're being asked to create that vision of your life and to then start enacting it, which is very tricky. It's a long path here where you have to realize these unconscious behaviors and sort of see things that you're doing or allowing in a more objective way so that you can evaluate them more fairly. You have to unpack a lot of things here and go on a pretty intense healing journey. So if you can go to therapy, I would recommend that. I know it's not available for a lot of people. There are a lot of free processes like online that you can do. I always recommend, people have strong thoughts about her, but I always recommend Teal Swan's process of how to heal the emotional body and her process. These are just free videos on YouTube you can look up. And her process, that's called Parts Work. You can look up Parts Work and How to Heal the Emotional Body by Teal Swan, and that will just give you a place to start healing, where you can like find these inner children that are hurt, and you can be for them what no one was for you, and you can love them and value them, and then they heal and that heals you. So it's a place to start if you have no other resources. And it's unpacking your past and deciding what you want for your future, and then slowly but surely enacting it by cutting out the bad and going towards the good. And I didn't pull these cards for the other piles, but it came out for this pile, which is cards of reassurance. Your spirit guide, spirit team, higher self wants to show you these cards to let you know that you are this sparkling, beautiful rainbow gem in this, surrounded in this darkness. And they don't want you to doubt how precious you are and how beautiful and valuable you are. That's what the gem card is about. You have an incredible light, and both of these cards are shining from the middle. The mystic, you are so, the mystic is like one of the most spiritually powerful cards in this deck. I feel like you can be very spiritual. So if you want to tune in and tap into like your spirit guides, if you aren't already, get to know them, get supported by them and loved by them, they can help you heal. And spirituality can be a very important part of your healing journey. And coming into spiritual power and this sort of empathy and intuition and awareness that you can have for the world around you. Because when you tune into spirituality, you're tuning into deeper levels of everything and everyone. So these cards are reassuring you that you have the power to shine in this incredible way and to discover your inner light. And if you follow that light, it will take you out of the darkness and bring you to a place where you are remarkably and incredibly valued. And in this process, you will realize your own value, your own beauty. You will find the gem that you are and think it is the most beautiful gem in the world. And then sort of think, how could you have given that gem to people who didn't at all appreciate it or deserve it or see its beauty? It's falling in love with yourself by discovering yourself maybe for the first time. You are powerful. You got the mystic. You have the capacity to be, even if spirituality doesn't call to you, which you're on a tarot reading, so it probably does, and you could get really in tune with your spirit guides, and they can be a powerful, positive, extremely love, like the amount of love they can pour through, and the amount that they can even tell you about yourself. Like you can ask, if you meditate and get in tune with them and in touch with them, you can start like automatically writing and bring through, you ask them like, why am I beautiful? What is my power? And they can just tell you about yourself because they see what you don't, and they love and appreciate the unique being that you are. And it will give you an incredibly loving, appreciative perspective of yourself that you probably didn't get in life. But you can, if it seems daunting, they're telling you you have the power to do it. You have the intelligence, the intuition. Your intuition with the Mystic card is very, very strong. So, and it will only get stronger as you get more spiritual and more healed. And I pulled the last cards are what can life be like? What will you be when you have achieved this victory and you're in your destiny? These are incredible cards. The Crone and the Self. The Crone is once again spirituality. If you are not, like, you have spiritual power just all over this reading. The cards are saying you are so spiritually powerful. You can tune in and tap in to deep, deep layers of wisdom that other people cannot. And you can do it easily and clearly, and then be so intuitive in life. It can serve you in your life because as you move around, you'll be way more in tune. So you start healing, and then if someone comes up and like their energy is off and you don't like them, you'll be more in tune with it, and you'll know, oh, this isn't a good person. Like in a few seconds, you can walk into like a restaurant and someone will come over to you and say one thing, and you'll be like, I don't like this person's energy, and get away from them and not make excuses or try to give them the benefit of the doubt. You'll be really in tune. And this, in the same way, if someone comes around you and you just sort of light up, you will feel that as well. And you'll just naturally be drawn to things that are good for you and repelled by things that aren't. That's what this is saying. And the Self is someone who has discovered themselves, who has merged with their higher self, who works with their higher self, who knows their spirit and their soul, who knows exactly who they are, their uniqueness, their beauty, their power. And it's just, there's a very powerful, you're a very powerful person in a very soft, wise, feminine, even if you're a man, like this intuitive, empathetic, spiritual way. And that's been used against you by people, and you can turn that around and use it for yourself. And that's what the cards are telling you to do. Your strength is in your wisdom. It's in your empathy. It's in your intuition and your instincts and your spiritual power that you have at every moment. And the cards are saying that when you fall in love with yourself, like, you're going to be amazing, and people are going to see you as amazing, and you're going to feel your own unique sense of power, and you will just naturally move levels and levels and levels ahead in your life and be surrounded by people who love you, and you'll laugh with people, and you'll have a deep, soulful relationship based on the strengths and the light of two people who are healthy in themselves and who love themselves and have all the space to love each other. And it starts by you taking the gradual steps to fall in love with yourself and unpack all the things in your life that isn't love. So I hope I can leave you with a sense of power in the possibility of what you can be and what your life can be. And I hope this helped a little bit. Thank you for being here. And I feel your energy, and I feel how incredible you are and how valuable you are. You are sweet, you are kind, you are caring, you are empathetic, you are intuitive, You are deeply understanding of other people and their situations. You are non-judgmental about their situations. You make people feel warm and loved and appreciated, not judged. You are highly intuitive. You can figure people out easily. You can read them. You are deeply in tune with your emotional nature and the emotional nature of other people. You can attune to other people very powerfully, to where you can feel if something has happened that's upset them, even if they haven't said anything or really reacted. You can comfort people very deeply and in a very real way. You could see them for who they are. These are traits you have, and they've not been appreciated, and they've been used against you. So weaponize these things and turn them to yourself. Attune to yourself and your feelings. Attune to people in your life who are not healthy, and realize their unhealthiness and start cutting away from them. You can use these strengths that you have that I don't even know if you realize you have, and you can turn them in a positive way. You can realize that someone is self-sabotaging and someone is being mean to you, because you would realize it in a stronger way if they were being mean to someone else, I think. So attune to yourself, have empathy for yourself, care and love yourself. That, like, you feel like someone getting into like a hot tub, like warm, welcoming water. It's comforting, it's soothing, it's accepting. That's what you feel like. Turn that on yourself and care for yourself, and don't judge yourself. Don't be cruel to yourself. Use those traits you have for you. And love yourself so much that when someone is mean to you, you say, no, that's unacceptable. Thank you for being here, and good luck. Bye. Pile 3, what victory is destined for you? This is a very interesting pile because it can be interpreted in so many ways, but the overall theme for you is that you are destined to break the chains. I'm seeing you getting wrapped in chains, in expectations, obligations, in moralities that aren't yours. And this feels very much like you, it doesn't have to be this scenario, it could be anything, but it feels like a family, when you were born and when you were a kid and growing up, they said, this is what you are. And your destiny is to break through that, to turn against what you have been told to be and what you have been told you are, and to free your spirit so that you become yourself. It feels very much like the family has laid out your life for you, and that none of it is yours, and that you don't enjoy it, and that they have given you ways to live that don't fit or feel right to you. They feel restrictive and heavy and draining. So this can be interpreted in so many ways, but the first cards that came out are describing your current situation. And you have the Thread and the Lover. I wasn't quite sure. I pulled more to clarify, and I pulled the Unseen and Eros. I'll put them up in a minute, but this could even be, with the Thread, I always interpret it as a spiritual card, you making the connection to your higher self, to your spirituality. And it seems like this could possibly be about like religion as well. Maybe they are very, very religious, and they're like, this is your religion, this is what we do, these are the rules that we follow. And you breaking away could mean you breaking out of that religion and turning to spirituality. There's something more like free And with the Lover, there's really, it seems like you could possibly be someone who wants to enjoy things. Lover, and the orange is sacral chakra, and you have orange here, and orange comes up throughout the reading. Orange is about like sensuality, creativity, and pleasure. And I think your life is deprived of those things because of the expectations and rules and boundaries set in place on you by people who aren't you. So this could be what you could be wanting to break into, is just an enjoyment, a full, complete enjoyment of life and everything it has to offer. And that is very discouraged by the people that you're around or the environment that you're in. So for your current situation, you got Eros, which is, again, sensuality, it's sexuality, it's eroticism, it is the physical world. And then the unseen, which is very interesting. It makes me think that maybe with the unseen, there's a possibility that you are tuned in or tapped in spiritually. Maybe as a kid, you could like talk to your spirit guides, or you were like medium. Maybe you have some sort of spiritual power that was denied. Like you were like, I feel this about this person, or I feel like this is about to happen. And the people, like your family around you, was like, no, you do not, because it freaked them out and it scared them and they shut that down. So maybe this is a reclamation of that. But this is also with Eros there. This is just, this could also be with the eye and Eros. You just see things differently than they do. Your perspective and their perspective doesn't align. The way you want to live your life just isn't aligned with how they feel like you should. And this could be perspective about anything, about religion, about how you should go about relationships, anything. You're like, I have my perspective and you are bulldozing it with your perspective, and you're trying to get me to see things in a way that I just don't. So that is what you're like breaking free from. These cards are about advice on how to bring about this victory. You got the Queen and the Storm. Very clearly, these cards are saying, hold your power in the chaos. The Queen is a very powerful card. They're telling you to stand in your strength, even though you doing that, standing in the truth of who you are and what it is you believe and how you want to live, is probably going to cause a lot of turmoil and chaos, like the storm, like a tornado, like winds and lightning. It might cause a lot of chaos, but hold your strength in that chaos, because it's worth it in the end to become yourself. You don't want to get to the end of your life and think, I lived someone else's life. I wasn't me for one moment. That would be way more painful than standing strong in this storm. I pulled more cards for advice for you, and you got the Heart and Kairos. This is very much lighter and more promising. If you hold your strength, you will be able to fall into alignment with yourself in a way you never have before. The Heart is you being in tune with your deepest self, and Kairos is all about synchronicity, and in the book it describes it as mystical timing or mythic timing. I don't remember which one, but it's about things working out so magically for you. I think that when you become yourself, you are so in tune with who you are, and you become so free, and your heart is so full of love that you just automatically align with your higher self and your soul, and you just sort of walk so perfectly into a beautiful life. This is saying the universe is going to help you unfold this life, and things are going to work out for you so magically and so completely. And Kairos is also about like effortlessness. You follow the call of your soul and things unfold with an incredible amount of ease and beauty. So I pulled more cards here. You have the Dead End and the Sword. This is what you'll be when the victory has come about. This is interesting. It's saying you will have even more clarity than you do now. Things will be, you will understand them even better. Like maybe now you're just feeling these pulls of your soul and you're feeling the chains and you're understanding your perspective and their perspective. But when you get this victory, the sword is all about like realization and clarity. And you'll see, I think you'll see the situation you were in from an outsider's perspective, and you'll see how the chains they were putting on you were the chains that they put themselves in, and maybe their family put them in. And you'll just see the whole thing from a bigger picture, and you'll see almost how sad it is that this keeps happening and that they haven't freed themselves from the chains that you freed yourself from. And if you look at this sword card, it's darkness, and then there's the sword, and then you get these colors and this light. I think that you're going to feel like a completely different person in a completely different life very quickly. I pulled more for this reading for who are you going to be when this victory comes about. And the medallion is talking about you receiving things that you haven't even thought of. I think things will unfold that you haven't even dreamed of. Very positive things. It's a positive card. And that you will get something very unexpected. I think right now your focus and your energy is on the restrictions. And when you free yourself from the restrictions, there's a whole life out there to like explore and to feel into and to discover. And I think you're going to discover some very interesting and incredible things. And the Poet is a great card to come through because it's talking about how you will embrace your perspective and you will embrace the beauty of life and you'll embrace sort of the poetry of it all. If you want to be a creative person, because this could be a chain as well, them wanting you to be something solid like a doctor or something, which is solid and gets money, and you wanting to be a more creative person, it will free a creativity and a sensuality in you, and you will just see beauty everywhere instead of restriction, freedom, just ultimate. And there's all these birds flying in the back. Like, you will unlock a level of freedom you have never experienced, and the things that come in will surprise you. These could even be aspects of yourself coming in that will surprise you. For what your life will be like, the comic is lighthearted and fun, and then the Forest is about you being like bold and adventurous. So these cards together are telling me that like you'll approach life with a sense of curiosity, where you'll like wander into the forest and be unafraid because you see that life is actually light. You've been in chains so long, things feel very heavy and very draining. But when you break free of these chains, things are going to feel light and easy, and you're going to walk with so much less effort through your life, and you can create things very effortlessly. It's just so much lighter and more fun and more happy and more free. And at this point, the eternal child flew out of the deck when I had like asked a question or anything. So I think that there's very, very deep healing that will come about when you break free from these chains and you become yourself. I think there's probably a lot of inner children who are suffering because they know, as children especially, know what they want and they say it and they go for it. And if that was completely stopped and discouraged and you couldn't be who you were, that's so painful, like to have that level of not being accepted and loved for who you are. And I think you are destined to heal so many versions of your younger self and then live in this almost, not really childlike, but just almost more like a child, like just running around being happy and laughing and free. And it's really, really beautiful. The last cards are who you're going to be and what kind of life you can have when you have this victory. The desert and the maiden. So the desert is just emptiness and drain. And I think, and then the maiden is just this beauty. And it's interesting that both of these cards have the same picture. There's a hand and a hand. Like the hand in the desert is just grayed out and it's reaching for something and there's nothing there. And the hand in the maiden's literally touching someone. It's very sensual. And again, you have this orange, this sensuality. So you can even be something who, like, your family really told you about purity culture, that if you embrace sensuality or sex, like you're dirty and horrible and impure, and you're like, I just don't see it that way. And you break free from that and live in a more sensual and exciting and passionate way. And you're moving from the desert into this, and you got the forest card, and on the maiden card is more forest. So you move from a place of just sand and dry and empty, where you're just pulling yourself along and there's nothing to energize you or excite you, into this lush, exciting environment where there's rivers and streams and like interesting trees, and maybe there's like a cabin in the woods and creatures. Like you're just moving from nothing into lushness and everything and excitement and adventure and love and passion. It's a very free, uplifted, light energy. Like I see a person in black and white and just wrapped in all these heavy chains, and then they break free and they just have like flowing, colorful clothes and are running around anywhere they want, just laughing and enjoying life with themselves and with other people. And I don't even think you know fully how alive you can be and who you are when you are this free, and how I don't think you fully know what life could feel like on the other side of carrying around these chains. So I hope that was helpful. That's all I have for you. Thank you for being here, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Okay, pile 4. What victory are you destined for? And in the vein of like a lot of my other readings on pile 4, what I got for you is very straightforward. It was spiritual enlightenment. This seems to be a similar thread for my pile 4 people, that they're very spiritually powerful, and that's continuing in this. I just see a person sitting down, sort of meditating, and all of this information just pouring through their head and their body, and they just bring in new things for the world. Like, this isn't someone who just listens to someone else and understands it. You are someone who brings information from the other realms into this world. And we'll get more into that with the cards. So I pulled a card for what is your current situation. And very fittingly, you got the thread. This means you're already tuned in, tapped in. You already are aware of your spirituality. You're probably already in communication with your guides, with your higher self, something like that. But you're getting information already. I pulled in advice on how to bring about this destiny, even though it seems like for you, this pile in particular, you sort of already know what you're doing and are on track. Your advice is pilgrim, vision, and mentor. And this is so perfect. Pilgrim is about like learning your spirituality, taking the time out to really study it. It's sort of like a student card. So I see you like putting aside time to make sure you do a meditation ritual or tarot ritual, something like that. And with vision being a part of your advice, I think it wants, like, Spirit's kind of telling you that it wants you to have a wide perspective about what can come through or what you can find, the type of information that you can get. It wants you to keep open, but at the same time sort of approach spirituality with your vision. With Pilgrim and Vision and Mentor, I'm getting that you are meant to be an active participant. You don't just have to sit and meditate and get information. You can ask questions and then get answers to the questions. You can have a very interactive experience with whatever spiritual forces you're tuning into and tapping into. And with the mentor, I think this goes two ways, that you can have someone who helps you be your own spiritual guru. So like I said before, like, you're not just listening to someone else and understanding it and then saying, I have spiritual information. The mentor that it's sort of leading you to is someone who can help you tune in with your own power and your own information that you bring through. This isn't someone who's just giving you information. It's someone who's helping you tune into your own information. So I think it's saying, be open to that if you don't have it already, because that could come through for you. Also, it's saying that you could be a mentor for other people, and in that you can learn and develop your own skills and your own truths even more. Because I think you're already quite spiritually advanced. So I pulled through information. What could your life look like if you achieve this, or when you achieve this victory of spiritual enlightenment? This is a very powerful pile. The Offering, the Venom, and the Vow. This is really pointing to spiritual mission type of energy. The Venom are things that are in the world, in society. You can make it any scale. This could just be your own family, or it could be globally or universally, since you're tuned in with other realms. Things that aren't working. And the offering is you offering information on how to make those things better or improve upon those things. So you can point out to society what it's doing wrong. You could be this sort of mentor. You can be a wise soul. Like, there's a real lack of appreciation for wisdom in society, it feels like. But you could be someone who people listen to, who they respect as being wise. And this can go any way you want. If you don't want to be a spiritual teacher and say things in a very spiritual way, you can use your spirituality, but then speak in very physical terms. So you know that you tuning into these other realms and interacting with other beings is letting you know that, I don't know, the government's a corrupt or something. But when you give the information to the people, it's your choice whether you want to say it's spiritual or not. Like, you can just provide wisdom about the world that people live in that's easily digestible, and you don't have to be a spiritual teacher if you don't want to. You can be just a general sort of human in society mentor and just be seen as this wise being. And with the vow, I think this is sort of a soul, almost soul contract. Like your soul came in to do this. It was like, I'm going to offer other ways of living that aren't as toxic. And that's something that I think your soul came in to do. The next cards are what you have to offer the world, what sort of like information. You have the bridge and the storm. So once again, the bridge is you are the connection between people and non-people, people and the other side. You bring in information from the other side and you give it to the world. And this is the very similar message with the storm as it was with the venom. You see the chaos and the turmoil around you, and you bring through wisdom on how to soothe and calm that and move forward in a better way. And I think this also came through. There was the 4 cards came out, but the ring and Kairos. Kairos is about alignment and synchronicity and being just in perfect timing and in tune. And the ring is just sort of oneness and wholeness. And I feel like you're so tuned in and you're so spiritually powerful and you're so tapped in that you don't really have to think and create avenues for you to go down. You just are so tuned in that you just sort of wander and it happens. You have no worries, you have no fears. A lot of people are like really anxious, like I have to work on this project because I have to get money and I don't know if it's going to work out or not. And you have none of that. You're just with Kairos and this timing and the ring wholeness, you know where your soul is calling you to. So you just, without worry, wander over to wherever it is, and whatever needs to unfold, unfolds. It's an incredible level of attunement that you have. And you go wherever Spirit's guiding you without fighting against it, as a lot of people do, without resistance. And that is very, very powerful. And then life unfolds. I wanted to pull more information about what it is you are bringing to the earth. And I got the seed, the gape, and the stone. And the seed is a possibility and potential. I think you bring through possibly another way of life. The seed, for some reason, made me think of like someone who even starts an intentional like community where people live more in tune with nature and in tune with each other and more like communally and in a better way for humanity. They aren't so like cut off from other people. They aren't cut off from the earth. They aren't cut off from spirit, but just in tune with everything. That could be something you're interested in, or it might not be, but that was just something that came to mind. But you're bringing through new ways of doing something, new potentials for humanity. And with the gape is very much spirituality. It's about openness. I think that the people around you, or the people closest to you anyway, if not on a much broader scale, it's up to you, are going to learn about spirituality and how to open themselves up to soul and to spirit through you. This is like the chakras being really open. You're just going to open people up. And even if it's not in a spiritual way, it's still in a spiritual way. So let me think of an example. Like if someone is crying about a breakup and they're like, my life is over, everything is ruined, you can use your spiritual knowledge and say, look, you can't lose what was meant for you. You can't, this is just an opportunity to get something better. And that information comes for your spirituality, and you open that person up and they didn't even know. The person can look at their situation in a whole new way and be like, oh, right, maybe that wasn't the best situation for me. And I think you do this all the time. And I think you do this at a lot of different levels, where it's a person who's not spiritually aware being opened up, like the last example, or it's someone who you're literally helping meditate and tune in with other realms. And the stone is the last card that we have, and it is just alchemy and transformation. You live so in tune with yourself. You live so fully and wholly, in a whole way, where you're in tune with everything. You're not cut off. You're in tune with your spirit, your higher self, your spirit team. You're in tune with the earth and life and your body, and you're attuned with everything around you. That it sort of brings this other way of existing. And it helps people. I think just you living your life will help people transform theirs. But this is a very powerful pile once again, but your victory is this high level of spiritual enlightenment, and as you live, you're going to be able to bring about transformations, possibly on a world global scale, and you're going to be this place of wisdom that people listen to and people seek out for how to better live in the world and how to better society and how to be alive and live this human existence in a much healthier way, in a much lighter way, without all of these shadows and unconsciousness and darkness. You're a very, very powerful person, and I think you already know that, which is wonderful. So thank you for being here, and I hope I'll see you in another one.